What is going on, movie freaks? Happy new week to everybody. Welcome to the show. This is Good Movie Monday, the weekly podcast dedicated to nerdy cinematic ramblings. I'm Glenn Cochran. The guy that is here for your pleasure is Ben Hellwig. Hey, Ben.
I thought I was here for my pleasure. You're here for their pleasure. I'm here for my pleasure.
You're here for mine too?
Yeah, well, only vicariously.
That's right.
You dirty, dirty voyeur.
It's a very Halloween-y week. It is Halloween week.
Halloween week?
This Thursday is the 31st, and so we've got a kind of Halloween-y show for people.
I'm actually a bit disappointed that it's a Halloween show and we're not focused exclusively on Hubie Halloween.
Mate.
Maybe next week.
Now is the time to revisit
Hubie, we've got all week.
Yes, it's a good time. You know, my favourite Halloween thing we've done on this show, though, was when we had John Casser, the Crypt Keeper, on as a guest. You can't get much more Halloween-y than that, really, unless, I guess, you get Michael Myers on the show. But he won't say much.
The shape. We should have got John Casser just to do a you're listening to Good Movie Monday. Just do the thing.
You're listening to Good Movie Monday.
Yeah, like Halloween 2024, Halloween 2025, Halloween 20, and just like for the next 10 years, future-proof ourselves.
Should do that, eh?
It's always weird when you get these interviews with these people, and you're like, can I ask them to prostitute themselves?
You can't do that. But when we did interview him, gave us so much more than I thought he would. So, but we have a great substitute. Our special guest this week is Parker Finn, the director of Smile and Smile 2. Smile 2 is now in cinemas. No doubt many of you have already seen it.
We certainly have.
We have. We loved it. We're going to chat with him about the movie and what went into making it. It's a good chat. It's coming up. We also have Terrific TV Tuesday and the Bonehead Weekly Fun Size, which both tie into the Halloween theme, which is great. Then, of course, we've got Jarrett Garn coming up in a few minutes, and I'm pretty sure that's kind of Halloween-y. And he's going to be talking about all of the physical media releases coming out this week.
Some good stuff coming out this week too.
Hell yeah. It's not Halloween-y, but socials. You know what to do.
Just head over to goodmoviemonday.com.
The end. That is it. Everything you want is there.
It's all there.
That's right. See, you've learned. That's the easy way to do it.
I always used to start off with like Instagram and all that. Forget it.
That's right.
Head to the website.
And click the links.
Click the links there.
Absolutely. Including videos. We have all of our videos there, including this one. If you're watching this video, it's on YouTube, it's on Facebook and the website. Anyway, that is that. What else have we got to talk about? Are you going to be doing any trick-or-treating this week? That's the question. Do you have nieces and nephews you can trick-or-treat with?
I do have nieces, but they'll be off. They're off in, they're far away.
Okay.
Like, not that far away. Like, you remember that Seinfeld episode where he talks about the circles of parents? Like, how far you have to move away? Like, there's just far enough away so they can't stay the night, but they can't visit often. Too far away, then it's stay visits. Too close, they're over all the time.
Yep.
So we are in proximity to my sister. We are in that, like, not far enough away for staying over visits, but too far away to really
to pop in
repeatedly. Yeah. Yeah, and they were. It was my sister's birthday last week, so they were over then, and so we won't see them for another 6 months until Christmas, most likely.
I met her for the first time at Monster Fest.
Yes, you did. Yeah, and like you didn't think she existed, and I proved you wrong.
And I didn't think she listened to the show. She proved me wrong.
She did, yeah.
So, what kind of treat would you want if you were trick or treating?
Oh, Mars bar with a razor blade in it. No, is that wrong? Is that the wrong answer? That's when I was a kid. That was a big thing. There was that big scare.
Yeah.
And we didn't even really do trick or treating.
What I always found funny though is, and that stemmed from America, like that folklore came out, but it was always a razor blade in an apple. It's like, who eats apples? On Halloween.
At the very least, that apple has to be covered in toffee.
Yeah, 100%. Well, maybe that's what it was. I was outraged when I saw that one of the supermarkets, I don't know, it was one of the big ones, but they had Halloween branded mandarins. Who is giving kids mandarins on Halloween? That's what I want to know.
Those parents who want to be healthy.
Heathens.
Like, I know that there's sugar in fruit, but it's the wrong kind of sugar.
I would call them evil fuckwits.
But I would like, I don't know. I do like a little snack size.
That's what it's all about. Snack size.
Snack size. But I'd like for the Halloween candy to go back in time. I'd like to have Redskins, and I'd like to have fags.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And
Big boss. Wake up, Ben.
Is this a dream? Yeah, I'm just trying to think of what else.
You got to take
I
medication?
like the good toffee apples.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, not me.
Okay. It's a medication alarm, but
It's
just not for you.
It's not me. It's my other personality.
Okay.
But he's asleep at the moment, so we don't have to worry about him.
The sleeping giant.
But if he wakes up, just hit him with this.
Let's pour some water on him, okay?
Get him wet. That's the secret.
How about we just move on?
Sure. Bertie the Beatles, actually.
Bertie Beatles.
Outside of the show.
I was thrilled to discover there's a website of Bertie Beetle show bags that you can buy all year round.
Beautiful.
And they have different kinds, like as far as volume. You can get one with like hundreds of Bertie Beetles. You can buy Bertie Beetle mugs. You can buy Bertie Beetle baseball caps and stuff like that.
Nice.
Yeah, I got really excited and I wanted to spend. You know, sometimes you just get the impulse to click yes, buy now. And then I realized, well, hang on, $170 for like a massive, massive, massive show bag. I'm not spending that on Bertie Beetles.
Then you just have to look back at some other advertising that, you know, subliminally says obey and consume, and then go back.
Yeah, that's right.
You got to keep that. You can't look away from the obey signs too long.
The power of Bertie Beetle is strong.
Yeah.
I've got to say, mind you, I had Bertie Beetles after the recent Melbourne show, and underwhelmed. It wasn't what I remember it being. It was a lot dark. The chocolate was a lot darker than my memory has me.
I don't know if we built Bertie Beetle up too much.
Yeah, 100% we have, because it's just a violet crumble broken down, right?
Yeah.
And a violet crumble, the chocolate is darker, but it's thin. Whereas a Bertie Beetle, it's much more chocolate centric.
Thick.
Yeah. Anyway, what are we talking about?
This is the pilot of our other podcast.
Yeah,
How Bertie Beetle changed my life.
Bertie Beetle Weekly.
Every week we talk about the prescient events in the world of Bertie Beetle.
Yes. Oh, I'm looking forward to that. It's in motion, people. We went to the movies as well.
We did go to the movies.
Saw some movies that are out.
Hand in hand.
One is out now. One is coming out this week. So let's start with Lee, which is the new movie with Kate Winslet. It's a World War II film, the biopic of Lee Miller, who was a Vogue photojournalist, previously a model, that is known for creating some of the more iconic images from World War II, including her own self-portrait in Hitler's bathtub.
Yeah.
It's also got Adam Sandberg.
I would have thought you did a wash after having a wash in that bathtub.
Well, I went back, and in this film, they depict that moment. It's a great moment where she strips off, she runs the bath, and she gets in, takes a photo. I've looked at the real photo in real life. The water wasn't necessary. I don't think there was water in there.
Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to tell from the angle, but it's also weird because they're shooting with a box camera.
Yep.
With a not a box camera. It's a 120 mil kind of Mamiya type.
The one where you look down on it.
The look down thing. And I can't tell if it had a wide angle lens on it or not. But some of the photos, when you look at it, and I don't know if it's just because of the internet, they're quite narrow. And some, and you're like, what is the actual photo you took? Was it wide and they've cropped it? Or have they added? Because some of them, the portrait of Hitler isn't in it.
Yeah. And
some of the other stuff that they... And you're like, I know that there's a continuity person there who's moving stuff around to make sure that the stuff is exactly like the photo. And you're like, but it's kind of not.
You've also got to be really careful with those box cameras when Adam Sandberg's around.
Yeah.
Very precarious. I enjoyed this film a lot. I had a little bit of an issue with the structure of it. And, you know, it was told by an older version of her telling her story to, you know, someone... like a journalist and telling her story, and it flashes back in time, and that bothered me a bit. I kind of would
I actually liked that part of it.
Okay, cool. Well, I'm glad.
Yeah, that part didn't bother me at all. I found her character to be a bit too aggressively unlikable in certain parts, like her kind of attitude,
her tenacity, I guess.
Well, no, I didn't. Not her tenacity. I didn't have a problem with that, but it's just like there are some moments in it where you're just like. She's not that charismatic. Mm-hmm. So why is she getting away with treating everyone like shit? Yeah. You know, like especially at the start.
I guess they're just a strong-willed woman that...
But at the start, she's there with all her friends, right? And they're like baronesses and, you know, the things of, you know, publishers of French Vogue.
Some of society's elite.
And stuff like that. And obviously, she's been friends with them a while so she can get away with it. But then when she's meeting new people, she's just as kind of abrasive, and you're like, how do you become close friends? And you can see her kind of interactions with the journalist that kind of goes through. like it must take
standoffish, very standoffish.
Very how do you get close to a person like that?
Yeah, I guess you've got to like she's well guarded and she protects her inner circle, so you've really got to crack it.
Yeah,
you know?
Because they're like, they're all and there are photos of this, so it's all, based on reality, but they're all like, taking their tops off in the party at the start. They're all super comfortable with each other.
Yeah, yeah.
Like all the people there, and you're like, how does someone like that get into, like, how do those people get into that circle?
Well, I guess in that case, it was a friend brought a friend along, and that friend
he
challenged her.
suffers it. Yeah,
But he challenged her.
He suffers the her tongue lashings. And then her tongue lashings.
That was Alexander Skarsgård, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes,
so, look, I enjoyed that. I think it's worth going to. It's still at cinemas, so get along. It's been doing really well, I heard. I was over...
Because it was supposed to be a made-for-TV movie that they went, this is actually too good.
Yeah, I was overhearing a couple of people from distribution, let's just say, talking about box office figures, and that film was actually, surprisingly, trumping a lot of other... bigger releases at the box office.
Well, funnily enough, it's an adult drama. Who knew that people actually want to go and see films for adults about adult subject matters that aren't fucking spandex superhero?
It helps that Kate Winslet's in town spruiking it as well, and very personable in her promotion. Shame we didn't get her for the show. That would have been great.
That would have been great.
But the other one we saw was Saturday Night, the new Jason Reitman movie, which is it's the, I won't say origin story.
Night.
But it is it's the depiction of the 90 minutes leading up to the inaugural episode of Saturday Night Live, which at that point in time was called Saturday Night, which is why on the show they say live from New York, it's Saturday night.
Yeah.
Because it was the show's title. This is a chaotic, absolute, frenetic kind of movie. It's a one location piece, almost told in one single shot.
It's kind of,
you can
it's
see
done
where
in
they
that
cut
way.
it,
Yeah.
but
it's done in that.
For all intent and purposes, they could have done this in one shot.
Yeah.
It could have been like one of those like fail-safe when they did that live to air type of thing.
Yeah.
Could have done it. I love this. I'm a big SNL fan of that era, I should say. And I think everyone that depicted those characters, particularly Dylan O'Brien, who played Dan Aykroyd.
He was great. The only person who I kind of question in it is the main guy who plays Lorne Michaels, not through anything that he did wrong, but just because I have so much trouble thinking of Lorne Michaels as being nervous or young.
No, well, this is the thing. Like, I completely bought it, and I actually thought he was the best performance in the whole film. You go back to those early years of SNL, Lorne Michaels did a few on-camera bits.
Yeah.
And I believe it completely. Like, he had the look and he had the demeanor. And those moments when he's like staring at like the show on a pinboard and the sketches, and he's got his kind of lip furled and he's like, looking at it and, just contemplating. It's like that felt like Lorne Michaels right there on screen.
Yeah. It's hard to, like, don't forget Lorne Michaels is the basis of the character Dr. Evil in the Austin Powers movie.
And the pharmaceutical giant in Brain Candy.
Yeah.
Repeat penicillin!
And it does actually, like, if you go there and also go back, like, I did kind of go back and watch a lot of clips from that first episode. And there's a lot, there's a lot of stuff behind the scenes where I kind of do feel bad for Lorraine Newman and Jane Curtin and Gilda Radner because you just kind of feel like they're not treated as...
Well, they weren't. They were the women.
They were the women
of the troupe, and therefore they didn't get the limelight or the attention
of the and Garrett Morris as well, who throughout the I loved that guy's performance.
But they used that as a trope.
Yeah. But if you go back now and watch like the pilot episode of Studio 60 on the Sunset Strip, you can kind of see like they're definitely kind of ripping off that. And it is like if you've ever watched any of the classic Hollywood movies where they go onto a movie set and you see all of the the people in Egyptian costumes off to the side and the showgirls over there, they're all walking past, construction workers and stuff. And that's exactly what this is like, except in a very cramped, office building, basically.
Yeah. And the one thing I would say, because I think that it will get a little bit of criticism in this respect, it is very much a fantasy kind of driven film because so much happens within this 90 minutes that can't possibly humanly work, within that time frame. But I don't think that's the point. I think the point is they've taken like the energy and the mood of that first season and just crammed it into this one short story.
I tell you though, the two people I thought that came off differently to the way I would have expected.
Yeah,
Like Chevy Chase in this film, and I love the guy who plays him. I think does a really good job.
he does.
Except Chevy Chase is actually like the head writer is a much bigger asshole than Chevy Chase is in any way, shape, or form.
That was a notorious thing. He was known.
He was known, yeah. But the Chevy Chase is actually like likable,
Yeah.
and John Belushi incredibly unlikable.
I didn't buy John Belushi's story in this one, to be honest with you. Like, I believe that they're playing into the reputation of John Belushi, but I think in that moment, the first episode, I think they all would have been nervous wrecks. Yeah. And I don't think they would have been as rambunctious and party going in that moment as the movie depicts, which I still like the way they did it.
Yeah, I mean, I do like, and George Carlin comes across as like you always think of George Carlin
as a hack. He comes across as a hack.
Yeah, but he's like the kind of the dad figure.
Yeah,
and he's just a real he's like a real jerk.
Yeah,
but John Belushi just seemed to have this arrogance that
he was too good for it.
Yeah. I didn't think was justified. It's like everyone telling you, like, it's like my joke about Julia Roberts, where at a certain point, if she must have put it into a contract, there has to be at least 5 instances in the movie where somebody will say, "Geez, how good looking is Julia Roberts?" And it's like John Belushi's a real talent. He's so funny. He's so funny. He's so funny. And I go back and watch those sketches, and I'm like, Dan Aykroyd's funny.
Dan Aykroyd was the brains of the show, and he was the driving force. But like, I also don't believe in. It's not a spoiler. It's just it's one of those things where
it's all historical.
John Belushi leaves the show, and Lorne has to go chase him. I don't believe that. Like, in that. Why would you leave that group of people that have all been working so hard for this moment? Why would you do that?
Because you have to wear a bee costume.
You can't just abandon something like that, you know. And I just think that was a bit of a dramatic arc, but it works in the film
because remarkably, because somebody called you out for being the asshole that you are. But
you crack the shits and have a sook. But and, I mean, John Belushi's never portrayed particularly well in anything that he's like. No. Remember that movie with Michael Chiklis or whatever his name was?
Yeah.
What was that called?
Wired.
That's it. And that's got the whole
which is based on the
thing in it.
Yeah, which is funny enough. It's based on the book by the All the President's Men guy.
Yeah. A movie that's been disowned by everybody involved.
Woodward? Is it
Bob
Woodward?
Woodward.
Yeah, it's not Bernstein, it's Woodward.
Yep. There we go. So, Saturday Night and Lee, 2 movies that are in cinemas. Saturday Night Live from this Thursday. So, Halloween. It drops on Halloween. That's an odd Halloween.
That's an odd one, yeah. Let's put on a show. Put on a show for Halloween.
No more days to Halloween.